Here's my audience. One in 166. It's time to change the odds. 1 in 110. With odds like that, something else needs to change. The awareness of autism. Have you ever walked into a store and saw a child having a complete meltdown and you thought to yourself, man, pick that kid up and show him who's boss? Impossible. Children with autism are in their own world and we are living in it. We need to accommodate their routines, their schedules, their senses. Ever watch Rain Man? Perfect example of a person with adult autism. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Another example of autism. However, it's childhood autism. How about Forrest Gump? Run, Forrest, run! That's not funny to a family living with autism. Autism was identified in 1943 by Leo Kanner. At the time, it was considered a rare disorder. Scientists are now noticing a rapid rise in its rate. In 1994, 1 in 10,000 children were diagnosed with autism. In 2007, the Center for Disease and Control Prevention put the rate at 1 in 150. Today, 1 in 110 kids are diagnosed with autism. Now take childhood cancer, juvenile diabetes, and pediatric AIDS. Combine the numbers. They still don't add up to autism. An estimated 1.5 million in the U.S. and tens of thousands of individuals worldwide are affected by autism. Scientists suggest that the rate of autism is going up 10 to 17% a year. Studies show that boys are more likely than girls to develop autism. An estimated 1 out of 70 boys is diagnosed with autism, according to Autism Speaks. Autism causes kids to experience the world differently than the way that most other kids do. Kids who have autism usually keep to themselves, and many can't communicate as well as kids their age. It's hard for kids with autism to talk to other people and express their feelings verbally like you and I do. They also may react to what's going on around them weird or in unusual ways. Being touched may feel uncomfortable even in the gentlest way. Sounds may bother someone with autism to the point where they're covering their ears or they even have to leave the room. Kids with autism often can't make friends easily. They don't understand facial gestures. You know a smiling person is happy. They cannot decipher if that person's happy or sad or anything like that. Try to imagine your mom saying something to you. You can't understand the words that she's saying, or you can't even understand what the words even mean. It's more frustrating if a kid can't come up with the right words even in their own language, with their own thoughts. A kid who has autism has trouble connecting words to the meanings. Autism causes kids to act in a way that we might think is unusual. They may flap their hands, say certain words over and over and over, have temper tantrums, play with one certain toy all the time. They may line their toys up in a particular way. They might have to have them in a certain spot all the time. If we change that for them, they're going to have a meltdown, they're going to have a temper tantrum. They just cannot handle that change. If someone with autism, their brain has trouble with the important jobs, making sense of what's going on around them. Every day, our brain recognizes the sights and sounds, smells, other senses that we experience. If our brain couldn't help us understand these things, we would have trouble doing things like talking and going to school and doing everyday stuff. Kids can be affected by autism so that only they have little bit of trouble, or they can be affected so much that they need a lot of trouble. Kids with Asperger's usually are ones that have just a little bit of trouble. Autism affects about 1 in every 110 kids, but no one knows what causes it. Some scientists think that some kids might be more likely to get autism because it runs in their families. Knowing what exactly causes autism is hard because the human brain is very complicated. It's kind of like computers. You have a PC and you have a Mac. They both look like computers, however they're wired differently. They run off of different systems. There's no cure for autism, but doctors, therapists, and special teachers can help kids with autism overcome or adjust to things that they have trouble doing. The earlier a kid starts getting treatment for autism, the better. Different kids need different kinds of help because there's different sorts of autism. But learning how to communicate is always the important step. It's the most important first step. Speaking can be hard for a kid with autism to learn. Most important words to understand are sight words, things such as pictures where they can just look at pictures and it kind of shows them how to do things. It tells you, this is the bathroom, I need to go to the bathroom. They'll show you doors if they want to go out the door. That makes learning other things easier for them. Eventually, many kids with autism can learn to talk. Therapists and teachers also help kids learn social skills, such as how to greet people and how to take turns and follow directions. Some kids need special help with living skills such as brushing their teeth, making a bed. Others have trouble sitting still or controlling their tempers, and they may need therapy to help them control those behaviors. Some kids may take medication to help their mood or their behaviors, but no medication will ever make autism go away. Students with mild autism sometimes can go to regular schools. Kids with autism need calmer, more organized surroundings. They also need teachers trained to understand the problems of autism and how to work with it. To understand a little more about autism, you can try reading Rules. It is a book about a 12-year-old girl whose family life revolves around her younger brother with autism. 110 kids are diagnosed with autism. One of them is mine. And here's my audience. Rocky, my audience, buddy. My audience, get in there, hurry. My audience. Hurry.
Uh-oh. A cookie.
Oh, sorry, he was eating his cookie.